What's up guys, it's Karl. Welcome back to another new year, another tech travel pack video. Happy 2022. This is the first vid that we're putting out for the year as I'm heading to CES a little early this year. I'm actually leaving probably around the time that this video is going live, either January 1st/2nd. So yeah, all of this tech is essentially what I'm bringing with me. Most of the tech that I kind of bring on a day-to-day basis, whether it's in the studio, whether it's for one of my first trips. I know that the past 2 years have kind of been crazy. Hopefully we can all forget about that soon, and just hoping that you're all staying safe. And if anything, for the next 10 minutes, let's kind of tune out and zone into some pretty cool tech that you can make your own upgrades to. We'll start off with the packs. These come as no surprise because I've looked at them both for 3-4 years each, and I'll kind of try to feature my favorites on this episode. So first off, this is the Peak Design Pack. This is really suited towards camera / I would say content creators. What's great about these packs, especially if you carry around camera equipment, you'll see as we open it up, on the side they have 3 separate compartments that are perfect for storing camera gear, and usually my camera will live on top. Let me just grab that off to the side. So you can either load that from the top to the front, and the best part, they kind of keep in their own little segments or their own little compartments. And say you're rolling around with a couple extra lenses, you can kind of pop those into the pack, and then you can zip them up and they stay in one place, and you can also access them from the other side. It isn't necessarily just a camera pack, even though I feel like it is slightly tuned towards that. It still has slots up top for a laptop, for of course some phones. It's nice and padded. In black is usually my choice because bags kind of get a bit dirty over time. I've always been a fan of Peak Design stuff, and I do like how they tailor their packs, or I guess their gear, towards content creators. So this one, like I mentioned, is the everyday 30-liter pack. And my second choice, which I think is no surprise, if you've watched my channel for maybe 5 to 6 years, I've always kind of promoted these Air SF duffel packs. This one is one of their limited edition lines with the orange lining. Most of Air SF stuff is little to no branding. I would say the only thing that they have are usually these small little tabs that say Air. Ballistic nylon, super comfy, and like I mentioned, for maybe half a decade, I have been promoting their stuff, and I think the fact that they're still making an appearance on these episodes every single year kind of speaks volumes to how just good they hold up over time. And maybe slightly biased also because these limited edition lines have all of the orange lining on the insides. But I think if you go with either, storing your stuff for a day, you will definitely have more than enough space. I always sling these around between home, between the studio, and yes, for my first trip to CES, one of these packs will come with me. I haven't decided which. I'm thinking I might actually bring one. Maybe my videographer might bring the other, so we get the best of both worlds. And before we kind of switch to the next item, we might as well talk about the camera on deck. So currently, we're actually recording with both of the cameras that I'm bringing. They're the Sony a7S III. This is just my older a7R2 body. We can keep that off to the side. And I would say the two a7S III, so right now we're on A cam and the B cam is sitting over on a slider. Those were my biggest upgrades to this studio last year. They're really good for video production. They specialize for video, especially low lights. Not that we're in a low lit situation. We've got all the studio lights. If I could redo it, I would honestly buy the A7 Mark IV, which I reviewed. I do think those are better hybrid cameras for both photo and video. Because we have a lower megapixel count on the A7S IIIs, that's for better low light. They just don't shoot as well for photo. So I'd still recommend the A7S IVs as the best all-arounder cameras. My lens of choice, this one's actually an all-arounder, and the only one that I think I'm bringing with me to CES is this 24-105 G Master. I know it doesn't have the same depth of field as some of my 2.8 lenses. This one's an f4, but because of that versatility, you can go all the way, like I said, from 24 mils all the way to that 105 range, and it still is smaller than the 24-70 2.8 G Master, which is currently on this second camera right now. I do think this is now my favorite run and gun ultimate all-in-one lens. It pretty much does everything. It isn't wide enough to say vlog, but for content creation, for the stuff that I'm shooting, mostly tech, and just to have one lens in your arsenal, I'm happily sacrificing the extra depth of field just to have that extra couple of millimeters in that focal range. That 70 to 105 really punches in shots and gets some nice close-up macros of whatever I'm recording. Onto smartphones. So my two daily drivers, I kind of take the best of both worlds. So over on iOS, over on Team Apple, no surprise, we've got the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The only reason why I'm going Pro Max is simply for battery. The amount of time I spend on my phone is actually quite scary. You can see that I'm pushing around 5.5 to 6 hours average of screen on time per day, and on busier days, I'm sure at CES I'll get closer to 7 to 8, and just being in the Apple ecosystem kind of is what sticks you or gets you stuck onto using their products. So being able to message from my iPhone to my MacBook to my iPad, all of those sync, all of them talk, and once you're in the black hole, it is tough to leave. Theoretically, you can never get out of a black hole, which is, I'm sure, what Apple wants. But onto some Android stuff. I am rocking the Pixel 6 Pro, which I think right now is the best Android smartphone for a couple of reasons. Not only does it rock stock Android, but Google did build their own chipsets, the new Tensor chip, so everything kind of works better. It's quicker, it's snappier, it is the purest Google experience that you can get, and I feel like that will be the norm or the trend this year in 2022. More OEMs will develop their own chips. We actually just saw Oppo release their new chip, or their new image processing chip, Mary Silicon X. But kind of back to the Pixel 6 Pro, I do think the iPhone takes better video, but I will give the slight bump up for the photo quality on the Pixel. It takes really good night shots. Google's computational photography is first in class. I will give them huge credit. Typically before, when you uploaded an IG pic or even on Snapchat from an Android device, they would look really hashed, really compressed. They do look the best over on the Pixel. I will still say they look the best on an iPhone, but some huge improvements, and I'm sure Android lovers will love the Pixel. So if you are in the market for either, these are the two best flagships. So it comes down to your choice. Are you on the Apple side, or are you on the Android side? Over onto the second most used piece of tech, I think for a lot of people, are now smartwatches. And once again, if you've seen the channel, you know that I am sometimes not anti-smartwatch, but I do rock my OG, just traditional regular watch. It can't track my heart rate, it can't track my steps, it cannot take my text messages, it can only tell me the time, but the best part, it never needs to get charged. I never need to replace a battery. It is my Planet Ocean Omega Seamaster. I'm a big Omega fan. I love that they have bits of orange, and when I saw this originally, I have the older Planet Ocean. My dad actually got that for my 20th birthday, and when I turned 30, I bought the new ceramic one, which has a bit of a deeper orange. It is slightly thicker. I do wear it every single day, and you can kind of see that from the abysmal watch tan that I got. I think I got this when I was in Hawaii last month, but when I do rock a smartwatch, I tend to test out different ones. This is the latest one that I've been enjoying. This is the Huawei Watch 3 Pro. What I love about this, it has a very traditional design and feel to my traditional watch, and it is made out of titanium, so a high-grade metal. It's got a 3D rotating crown. It is now built on Harmony OS, so the interface, the experience is really quick and snappy. And the best part, like I mentioned for smartwatches, I hate that I have to charge my Apple Watch every other day. This has an ultra long battery life. In battery saving mode, you can get up to 21 days of use without charging it. So when I'm at CES and I wear this, I don't have to charge it the entire week. And that's what I want with a smartwatch. I want something that I can kind of stick on, forget about it. If I don't track something, so be it, but it should live on my wrist all the time. I'll probably end up swapping the metal band for the rubber just to have something a bit more comfortable. I'm sure I'll be sweating a ton while I'm there, but now I can track my heart rate. Now I can track my oxygen levels if I want. They've got hundreds of different watch faces to choose from, but the best part, like I mentioned, it has that same premium feel as my Swiss watch. We can get even some close macro shots. It's a beautiful made watch, and it's the one that I'm currently rocking, and I do love it. Over on to main devices. We actually have my main daily driver behind me, which is the new 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip. Tongue twister. This is kind of the new daily beast, and I think what Apple is doing with their laptops is kind of just unrivaled in the tech space. The M1 chip is just so good, and once again, if you're in that Apple ecosystem, if you see the performance that these machines can get, if you have 8K or shoot in 8K, which I think is overkill for 99.9% of us, this can handle even my 2 4K video streams that we're recording with. I can dump these straight onto the timeline, scrub through edits, like it's nothing. You know, even for someone like me, this device is overkill. I have not heard the fan come on this device. It breezes through every single thing that I throw at it. I know it's expensive. I know that you could sell a kidney for this around $5,500 to $6,000, but for the performance that you're getting, it is kind of unrivaled. And that battery life is what makes it so nice. Around 14-ish, 15 hours before I have to charge it. It is a bit chunky, which I'm okay with, but they have included the good old SD card slot, so I no longer need to live the dongle life. The fact that I can run this entire YouTube channel, all of my CES content will be edited on a device like this, just kind of speaks volumes. I love it. I know that they're expensive. If you can afford it, I would say the M1 Pro is probably the best chip that you can get. The M1 Max is overkill. But once you see this performance, it is really, really tough to beat. I will still, though, show my favorite Windows device right now. This is the Windows Surface Laptop Studio. I still got to give a huge props to Microsoft. Windows 11 is a welcome update, but this laptop slash tablet hybrid 2-in-1 has been really awesome. So this little screen can articulate from, I guess, a regular laptop to tent mode if you want, and you can use this to, say, interact with the trackpad, and then it kind of swivels down fully into a tablet. Build quality is what Surface laptops really strive for. They really mimic what's going on in the Mac space. You do pay for that nice build, but if you want a premium all-in-one device, once again, you have to pay a bit more money for devices like this. I think this is honestly maybe overkill. Do you need this swiveling form factor? I'm just using it because it looks really cool. I'm sure there's other devices like the Dell XPS 13/15. My Lego guys fell over. Thank you, Microsoft. But yeah, dope device, and I dig it. I dig it. Tablets wise, I honestly don't really carry around too many. If there would be one, the iPad mini takes the cake. It's my favorite iPad that came out last year. And because the iPad Air / iPad Pro, especially if you get the larger 12.9 inch, those are very similar in size / cost to a MacBook Air, a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and you can do so much more with a MacBook. iPad OS is still limited. A lot of people will argue it's a glorified larger iPhone. I will kind of argue everything that you can do on a screen / device this small, you can probably do on an iPad. Yes, you can use the Apple Pencil with this, and I think that's its saving grace. If you're in the creative space, if you like to use the Apple Pencil for notes, for drawing, that's the allure. That's kind of what the iPad is great for. Yes, the viewing experience is better, obviously a larger display, but I like the portability of the Mini. I like that you can still use this with just one hand. You could even, if you want, put that thing in your pocket. Pocketable. For those wondering, we do have a dbrand robot skin. I usually put skins on my devices to somewhat protect them. Of course, everything mentioned, linked below. Headphones of choice, controversial, so I just came out with a video at the end of the year / beginning of this year on the best headphones to currently get. I will leave that linked up this way. I am a sucker for OG AirPods. So these are the AirPods version 3s or AirPod 3s. And the only reason why I love these are because the original AirPods fit my ear so well. And I know that is a small minority. You don't get active noise canceling like you find with AirPod Pros or anything with silicone tips. But for whatever reason, mainly because I hate that my ears have earwax, and every time I have silicone tips, I find them to be dirty. Maybe that's more of a cleanliness problem on my end. I just kind of love these. I know that a lot of people say that they don't fit, they don't sound as good, but like I said, it's just one of those inexplicable things in tech, one of my guilty pleasures. I love to use OG AirPods, no silicone tips, no noise canceling. Just give me my AirPods. Just let me do me. For a pair of over-the-ear noise canceling headphones, I was gonna bring my Sony WH-1000 Mark IIIs. Those are currently sitting at home. Couldn't find them for this vid, but that's kind of one of the cases if they aren't broken, don't fix them. I've had them for 2.5 years. I know the Mark IVs are out. I'm sure the Mark Vs will come out this year, but unless they completely change the design of them, I love my Mark IIIs. They're still working, still give me the best noise canceling. I listen to my Harry Potter audiobooks on flights, and if I am rooming with Nick or with Kate and some of my buddies at CES, they snore like absolute demons. I rock them as earmuffs. It's the only way to get sleep while I travel. I mentioned the camera. I did want to kind of call out some new microphones that we'll be using. So these are the Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones. So these are really handy wireless lav mics that we're gonna be using. They're pretty simple to kind of set up, simply just power them on. So the receiver end, this is what's gonna go onto your camera or even smartphone. So you can just slide that up top. And then they have these two little receiver ends. These are the actual lav mics themselves. So you have two options. If you wanna go completely wireless, you can kind of clip them onto, say like that, whatever you're recording with, and then you'll get some decent quality. But I have found a little bit of buzzing going on. I'm trying to find a software fix. So if anyone knows, I'm getting some weird interference, I think Bluetooth feedback, that weird little buzzing sound. But if I do stick an actual microphone into this, I know that I'll have to snake that through my shirt, clip on the little lav, and then this guy can kind of fit onto my pant pocket. But I think these are super handy, really small and compact, and can't wait to use these more, especially if we are recording content outside of the studio. Gaming, retro gaming. I'm not bringing anything with me in my pack that's related to gaming other than this. This is the Nintendo Game & Watch Zelda edition. This is the exact game that I grew up playing. So this was the first game that I got for my Game Boy Color, Zelda Link's Awakening. These are the graphics that I grew up with as a kid. Oh my goodness. This is nostalgia. You know, maybe one day I'll give this to my kid and say, hey, this is what your old man grew up playing. Dope, cool. Is it the best? I think so, but not in terms of gaming. Anyways, maybe we'll get to or round off the episode on accessories. These are just things that I carry with me literally every single day. I would say these are more pocket accessories. So for example, I'm just rocking my wallet. Not that I'm a big name brand or designer brand person, but I did see this little LV card carrier, and what made me drawn to it was, of course, the orange little branding on the outsides, just holds my credit cards and stuff. I will say for my car keys, or any keys that I have, AirTags have really been a game changer. I am someone that loses my keys every day. Like, I will put these down here, and when I'm leaving to go home, I'll say to myself, where the hell are my home keys? Where are my car keys? Where are my studio keys? AirTags, super, super handy. And a pen. I am also a big sucker for stationery. This was from Grovemade. Stainless steel pen. You do still have to fill out a couple things, you know, on pen and paper. I know that is becoming archaic, but there is just something so satisfying about writing something down. And for all the notes that I use to create these videos, that I use to jot down ideas, I still write them down in the OG style with a notebook, specifically an orange notebook. And yeah, that is kind of my everyday carry / that's what fits into my tech travel pack. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A ton of new tech that's coming with me in 2022, and I can't wait till we upgrade or update this video by the end of the year, but hopefully you have some new ideas. And for CES, I am going to be doing a ton of stuff. I think it'll be my busiest CES to date. I will be doing a live stream on Roborock's channels, so I'll be taking over their booth. I think that'll be around 45 minutes to an hour, so make sure you stay tuned. I'll be doing stuff with BMW, Intel, and Razer / Fossil, and Best Buy. We've got a ton of stuff at CES this year, so stay posted. Ton of that coverage going out. Thanks for tuning in for another solid year, and we'll catch you in one of my next vids. Peace.